Welcome into the Gator Nation Football Podcast Film Review. I'm your host, James DiVirgilio, and we'll be looking at Florida's defense versus Georgia on today's episode. I hope all of you had a happy Halloween. Welcome to November and fall. Sorry for the delay on this video. There was a bunch of stuff going on this past weekend and elsewhere. I just couldn't quite get it out on time, but I appreciate your patience. As always, if you like the content on this channel, subscribe, follow us on social media, drop us a dono on Patreon, where you can help support our efforts to bring you more of this content, and check out our podcast each and every Monday, where we bring you in-depth analysis on the Gators. All right, Florida's defense was sort of feast or famine in this game, a classic kind of barbell from them. It was either really bad or really good, which we've seen some of that all season long. The really good in this game from the defense did allow the defense to keep Florida in this football game in the third quarter. In fact, almost all the magic really did come in the third quarter. And early on, Georgia had a 1st and 25, now a 2nd and 18. And perhaps you felt like it's too early for Georgia to convert this. They have to wait till third down. Georgia has other ideas. Florida's going to play man here. They're going to play zone up top over here. And what we're going to see on this route is Trevez opens up the right way. He needs to funnel this into the safety or the middle of the field, right? And that's why he's lining up with outside leverage, and he's going to lose that leverage right here pretty easily. Why he loses this so easily is anyone's guess. He should not lose this so easily, but he does, and this leads to the easiest of out routes. Look at the separation here. Look at the time. He's able to catch, turn, look at him, walk out of bounds. Hey, Trevez, what's up, man? You didn't cover that route at all. Didn't do your job, right? That's going to be an automatic first down. He's going to keep looking at him because, again, if it's that easy, why not, right? If it's going to be that simple, and let's look at the zoom-in route, you can see just how easy this is. Trevez's job here is to force this route to the middle of the field where he has help. He has Miller dropping here into zone underneath. He's got a safety over the top. He cannot let this route go to the outside where he doesn't have help. And in fact, Georgia's counting on this by running off the wide receiver, taking Marshall out of the play, allowing for this route here to be here on the rollout to the right. And there it is, little head fake. That's all it takes. Now Trevez is going to turn all the way around, which is going to cause him to totally lose control of this route. There you go. Easy completion, 2nd and 18 becomes an easy first down. So the scheme on that play is perfectly fine. Running that coverage there is perfectly fine. That is a player issue. We've said all season long we've seen player issues on defense. We've seen some scheme issues on defense for this particular play. That's a player issue. Defense there is fine. And Georgia, as it stands, gets an easy 18 yards on 2nd down on the first drive of the game. Each week we talk about how on film study, the film doesn't lie, and it tells you essentially what the truth of the matter is. And on this film study, I do my best each and every week to try not to make these things personal. Of course, I am going to have to call out players and their technique and what happens, and calling out is not a negative thing. It's just hey, it's on film here. You're going to have to wind up doing a little better. Trey Dean has been often mentioned in the wrong sense on many plays, not because I'm trying to pick on Trey Dean, but because Trey Dean on film is generally very inconsistent and gives a lot of plays up. I'm happy to report in this football game that I think Trey Dean had his best game as a Gator, and it's going to start here early on. He's matched up against the best player on Georgia's offense, Bowers, man-to-man. We had said in the podcast leading up to this game that I wanted Florida to play 90% of their snaps in man. It turns out we didn't come anywhere near playing that many snaps in man. In fact, we played just 8 or 9. And of those snaps, Florida was very successful. Just 2 completions for Georgia. One of those was a pick. I think Florida should have played a lot more man. They should have brought a lot more pressure in this game, but that's not the point of this breakdown, is we're going to look at what actually did happen. But we're playing man-to-man here right away. We just saw with Trevez that he gave up this outside route. We're going to see that Trey Dean here does not do that. He's going to force this to the middle where he has safety help. That is what you want to do. Here's Trevez on this side, making sure the middle route does not come to him, right? So here's what we get on the all-22 look on 2nd down. Trey Dean, a lot of holding here and a lot of grabbing. Probably could be called. A lot of holding, a lot of grabbing. But you know what? I'd much rather have my DBs be physical and see what you're going to get away with than to just let guys run free and unharassed. And Dean is certainly doing that, holding on right there, still holding on. And then he's going to swing here, not get a piece of this ball. And then Torrance should have a pick. This should be Florida's first turnover. We should be running down the field. Either way for Trey Dean, that is great defense. And again, If I'm a receiver here on Bowers, I'm going to complain about that. This guy's holding me, right? Try to work the rest for the long game. He doesn't. But regardless, I like this by Trey Dean. Does his job, forces him to the middle, allows the safety there to help, makes this throw window tight. I think Stetson Bennett's biggest weakness, of course, if I can say the word Stetson right now, which I cannot do. Stetson, hello, what am I doing? I can't speak. At any rate, I think Stetson's greatest weakness is that he doesn't throw well into tight windows. And that's one reason why I think you're going to see teams play a lot more man against him as the season goes on. All right, 2nd and 8 for Georgia. It's great to have the SEC games that Florida has because when that happens, we get the All-22 camera. And that's a huge benefit for all of us. So here you go. You get an All-22 shot on a lot of these plays. And this is Trey Dean, a guy who on film has often been on the wrong side of these film studies, not because I'm picking him out, but because the film generally tells you what a player is doing. And Trey, unfortunately, tends to make a lot of mistakes. I think in this game, he had his best game as a Gator. For sure. And you're going to see that throughout this film review. And that's the point of this review. Each week, I'm going to show you what happened. And we're going to celebrate the great plays and commiserate with the bad ones. And if you're a player, you obviously watch these film reviews to make yourself better. That's kind of the whole point. And so, if you're a player, you want to always be trying to find ways to get better. And for Trey Dean, right here, man-to-man coverage, his job is to keep this funneled towards his safety on the inside. Right, we're going to funnel everything to the inside here. You can see Florida doing this here and here. Let's keep this all funneled. Let's bottle this up, keep everything in here. Let's make this hard. Now, Trey Dean's going to hold right here. We're going to initiate contact, and then we're going to hold a lot. We're going to hold even more. I'm okay with this. Early on in the game, see what you can get away with. I'd much rather have my DBs be physical and have to walk it back some than to allow these routes to be run without any contact. So I'm okay with that here. Trey gets with a lot of holding. This throw is not on the mark. And it's going to wind up being what should be an interception here from Torrance. He drops a bunny pick right here. That's what happens. You drop a bunny pick right here. That's frustrating, right? You don't always get those. Trey Dean's over here celebrating, doesn't see that Torrance is down here. Surrender Cobraing into the grass. That's unfortunate. Either way, this is really nice stuff here by Trey Dean, an incompletion on 2nd down. And this is Florida playing man defense. Entering into this week on the podcast, I had suggested Florida play 90% of their snaps in man defense. Bringing pressure more than 50% of the time. That was my hope. Of course, this breakdown is not going to break down what I would have done. We're going to look at what actually happened. As it stood, Florida played really 7 snaps in man, and Georgia was 2 of 7 in those snaps with 1 pick, 1 touchdown, a 28.6% completion rating, and a 48 quarterback rating. So Stetson, I think going down the road here for the rest of this season is going to have to answer some questions about beating man defense. As these games get harder for him, as he enters into the thick of this schedule, starting with Tennessee this week, and then moving on to better defenses as he goes throughout the year, he's going to have to do much, much better against man defense. Georgia has been very weak against this. I can't tell you why Florida did not do way more man than they did, other than that Florida has not been a heavy man team this year, but they were very successful right here on this play, and you'll see more of their success as we walk through this breakdown. Another Gator who I think had his best game as a Gator was Burney. Mari Burney here, really fantastic game. This is 3rd down and 8. 3rd down and 8 early on, first drive. And let's look at, this is significant progress for Florida's defense. We had seen during the Grantham era, Florida's linebackers almost had no idea how to actually play zone defense underneath. And watch right here, Burney's going to identify the route combinations. Right, first we're going to open up into the flat here. We're going to peek the tight end. Okay, he's going to drop over here. He sees that. Now we're going to snap here. Is there someone getting depth on me? Yes, there is. I need to turn, and I need to run. I know I have safety help here. I know I have 3 deep, but I need to get with this route and make this throw as hard as possible so they don't have a huge window here. Stetson wants this throw the whole way. He's got a great clean pocket here. He's got tons of time, puts this ball there, and then Burney is all over this play. That's great pass coverage by Burney. You really can't do it any better. And this is something Burney does very well. It's been unfortunate that Burney has to play a lot in run defense and do things he's not as good at. But if you can put him rushing the passer, if you can identify or have him basically cover a man, if you can get him using his athleticism, he can be dangerous. It's a great pass break up there. And that's Florida getting off the field on 3rd down on the first drive. Georgia's second possession now, a little pre-snap motion here to try to confuse Florida. Florida correctly gets lined up, and now like we saw Trey Dean playing physical on Bowers, You're not going to see that here. Instead, Trevez is going to just give him all the space he wants to run this route here, right? No contact of any kind anywhere. Trevez goes off your screen, clearly trailing this play. Got your underneath defender here. He's going to have to make this hard on him in Torrance. He's going to drop back. Torrance then turns, tries to get in there. Trevez catches back up largely because, and although you can't see this on your screen, largely because this ball should be thrown over here. And if he gets this ball outside the numbers, Bowers is going to run into this football. Instead, against Stetson, he struggles against man defense. He's going to have to improve, I think, his ability to beat man defenses if Georgia wants to win a national title this year. They're going to face teams down the stretch that are going to play a lot of man against them if they're wise. And if they don't, that to me is foolish. At any rate here, this ball's not a great ball. It's behind Bowers. That allows Trevez to come back in and make a play on this ball. As it stands, still a big completion on 1st and 10, and not a complicated one. Despite the fact that Torrance does drop back, there's too much space there. If he gets more contact early on, he probably slows this route up enough that Torrance is able to drop back further and make that smaller window that we saw earlier with both Bernie and then, of course, obviously with Trey Dean. All right, so we've seen some player issues here early on. Here is going to be what I am going to say is a scheme issue. You can play off technique here. You can decide to play off, whether you're playing zone or man, just like Florida is here. You can do this. It's 2nd down and 7, but if you're going to do it, you cannot do it at the depth Florida is at, in my opinion. Again, Tony come on here and he could argue with me on why he thinks he would do this differently. That's just fine. For me, if it were me and I'm playing defense, if I'm defensive coordinator, I would not have this much space on this particular play. And here is the reason why. Georgia sees this, knows this. They're going to run a simple wide receiver screen, right? Florida is an actual man defense here. Man D, so we're locked up here, we're locked up here, we're locked up here. So here's what happens. You're going to get Bowers coming out to block right here. Right, man-to-man corner. Then you're going to have Torrance, who's going to overrun this play, covering Bowers because he's not looking because he's playing man. And now you basically are trying to get your receiver sprinting to the interior of the defense here, which is exactly what they get. And they get stopped on the 1-yard line. So one more time, pre-snap. If Florida is up, now there's a lot of ways to do this. If you want to leave these guys off, put him up right here. The reason you do that is you put him in your natural throw window, right? And you can leave him off because here you can have a linebacker that could easily bubble into this. The quarterback does not know pre-snap what's happening. There's a lot of things you can do to take that away. But when you show this early on in pre-snap, in my opinion, if you are not going to come downhill auto on the snap, like this could be like a game theory bait and switch scenario, right? We're going to show you that we're an off man, but then as soon as you snap the ball, we're coming downhill because we think you can run this play. That's not what Florida's going to do. Florida's reading and reacting. You can see right here, we're going to react to this. Okay, now this is going to be a screen. I'm coming downhill. This is perfect technique. There's nothing else he can do here. He's not backing up. He's maintaining his ground. He sees the shallow route. He immediately explodes. So we've done everything right from a player standpoint here. Everything right from a player standpoint. Torrance is in man. He's not watching the quarterback. He has to watch his man. That's correct. Now the ball is thrown. Now as defenders, you should be yelling ball, ball, ball. Right? Ball, ball, ball. You want Torrance to have his eyes up to be able to see what's going on with the play. But regardless, Georgia's off and running. Despite a perfect break here, we cannot make a tackle. Perfect break. Cannot make a tackle. Can barely get a touch by Jaden Hill. He played that perfectly. Barely get a touch. Torrance is out of the way. There's Dean. There's Marshall. There's Trevez. There's almost a touchdown. Again, all of this occurs because of scheme, in my opinion. If you want to play off man, bring him a little closer here. Again, you can solve it bringing him up right here, putting him in the throw window, eliminate that play from the start, right? There's several things you can do, but this is too soft, in my opinion, for me, right? That's important in these film reviews. It's just my opinion based on what I'm seeing on film, and it's something for us to look at. But I think this scheme here leads to a Georgia touchdown, a play later when they run the ball in. Sometimes a team runs a really nice play on you, and that's going to be one here. And it's evidence of the fact, but watch how Florida eats this pitch fake. Pitch fake by Stetson. Whoop, fake. Like it is their favorite cookie. Look at this. Got him, got him, got him, got him, got him, got him. Isn't playing that, so it's okay. Can't be had. Miller's the first to recognize this. It's also why Miller's a good linebacker. First to recognize this, take a look at Shamar, who is still trying to figure out if the running back has the football. Keep watching him. Keep watching him. Okay, now he's like, I don't think he has it. Where is the ball? I'm not totally sure. I'm still looking over here. Oh, there's the ball. That's a great fake. I'm not picking on Shamar, kind of making light of the situation. This is a really good fake. In football, on defense, you're going to get faked out. The younger you are, the more likely this is going to fake you. And that's one thing Florida's been dealing with, of course, is some inexperience across the board. But in general, there's just, that's cold. It's just, the whole defense is gone. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. Look at Boone here. He's a freshman. I love this guy. He's on the edge, unblocked, watching the exchange. He still thinks he has it. Watch. Stetson Bennett has the ball right now. He's looking at him. He has the ball. Now he knows. That's fantastic. So good on you, Stetson. That's also why you want to run play fakes with your back to the defense, because you can hide the ball right here. Ball's hidden, ball's hidden, ball's hidden, ball's hidden, ball's hidden. Now they can see it. Really nice play. So I show you all that to say, that's a nice play. That's a good rollout. Easy completion. Lots of bobbling from their best player. But either way, Bowers takes this for a big gain on 2nd and 5. So nice play fake there. Again, Florida defenders eating that like their favorite cookie. All right, 3rd down and 1. Let's chalk another play up here to scheme and not players. I've talked before on this channel about guarding bunch sets. This is going to be a kind of an unusual bunch, but this is a tight end who's eligible. So you've got a 3 bunch set here by always having, or at least not always, but in most cases having your nickel or whoever you want here defending this on line of scrimmage, getting physical to disrupt this bunch. And there's a lot of reasons why I think you want to do this. And again, I don't have all the answers, right? Tony can come on here and tell me what he thinks. It's a debatable thing. That's how I would prefer to do it. And here's one reason why. Georgia had a lot of success in this game running this very set, as you're going to see in this film review. And all they're doing here is taking this bunch set on 3rd and 1. Look at how Florida is aligned. Florida's pass defenders are way off the ball here on 3rd and 1, which is an auto run for Georgia. We're going to bring our H-back or our tight end. We're going to make sure we collapse the defensive end here. Extra block, push him out of the way, check. Now, because we have so much space, we're going to be able to engage Trevez, who's the top of Florida's defense here. We're going to engage him multiple yards down the field, take him out. And now, for good measure, we have a lead blocker with our wide receiver here, Ladd McConkey, where we can run this play right here. Georgia's just trying to pick up the first down. They're going to leave the corner as the defender that remains unblocked so they can ensure running right off here of their H-back, which is what they do. And now it's his choice. He can go one-on-one versus the corner. He can try to go up here where the blocks are or make a move. His choice. He goes through the middle, busts his way through, picks up a big gain on 3rd and 1. Again, that is scheme in that situation. I don't care what kind of players you have. If your defensive end right here is going to get ear hold 2-on-1, right tackle H-back, you're in trouble. Now you've got a tight end versus your nickel, huge size advantage here, also a leverage advantage, a yards advantage, you're in trouble. Then a wide receiver lead blocking, you go 5 yards down the field on 3rd and 1. It's not going to work. I had said entering into this game that Stetson Bennett is a very good zone quarterback, in large part because most of his success comes from pre-snap reading. Once it's post-snap ball placement, other things aren't quite as good, but he does the little things well. He does the pre-snap stuff very well. And this is what he's going to do here. Is Florida is in what looks to be, right, pre-snap. You're not sure here. Tight ends on this side. You've got your defender here off. You got 2 high. So you're not really sure. Could be cover 2, could be cover 4, could even be man. Not totally sure. But based upon what he sees here, he's going to go make a check because he feels like Florida is going to be sitting in a cover 4 or a cover 2. Either way, he's feeling like he's getting zone, and he's going to run a play that's going to work no matter what. And we're going to see here, it's just a simple seam go route, right? Seam go route right off the line. He opens up here to check and see what he gets. He sees a dropping safety, drops back, opens up here to see the next safety. He's also dropping back, and now he knows he's got this route no matter what. Again, could be cover 2, could be cover 4. It doesn't matter. Florida is running cover 4 here, but it doesn't actually matter. If it's 2 or 4, no matter what, this part of the field is going to be open early. Underneath the safeties, it's going to be open again. 2 or 4, over the linebacker, underneath the safety. Obviously, Florida would have done much better here if Miller opens up to this side as the underneath defender. This is not the safety's fault up top on this play. This has got to be linebacker play here, right? Here's your underneath defenders. We have nobody else in this area. You'd like to see Miller get here quickly. Again, he's going to take care of this, get here quickly, take care of this route. It does not happen. Easy ball. There's your underneath defender right here, and Miller, and here's your over-the-top defender right here. And that's going to be the easiest first down and 10, almost touchdown you can possibly have. But that is a check by Stetson Bennett. Again, Florida played zone in this game. Florida, like every team that Georgia has faced that's played zone, has largely been punished by it. A much better zone passing team. Again, to me, really pay attention to what teams do down the road. Who is going to have what I think are the tactical stones, if you will, to play Georgia the way they should be played. If you think a pass is coming, play man. And in fact, if all else fails, default to playing man, because they're so much weaker at it. But here, a nice example of a pre-snap check by Stetson and a big gain by Georgia up 7-0. Second and goal for Georgia. Talent will often show up on the lines. And what I want you to do is watch the line of scrimmage here. Georgia had their way with Florida running the football. Florida tends to be actually a pretty decent goal line team when they're more out of the 3-4 and they have more down linemen. I still don't understand why Florida is content to play 3 down linemen versus basically a goal line set here. I don't understand that. I think I'd much rather see another 1 or 2 down linemen here to equalize the bodies. We choose not to do that. So to me, another scheme issue here. It's second and goal. You're playing a running team primarily. I don't think you need all of this, but that's just me. So what happens here? Let's watch the line of scrimmage, right? We're back off of it. We're locked up here with the linebackers. Not a single Florida player's feet or foot has crossed the line of scrimmage, except for the unblocked man here in Dean. All right, that's not going to be a recipe for success, and they're going to get in the end zone here. Now, could this be different if Florida lines up to equalize the bodies here at the point of attack? Of course it could be, right? Georgia's blocking everyone. Florida has just 3 down linemen. You got a couple undersized guys here coming in a linebacker. So if you had a bunch of super strong guys here, of course, you could still play without having your hand in the ground, but it's harder to get leverage, harder to get drive back. And in general, this is where Florida is as a program. You can kind of see in this game that there are talent gaps. There are issues Florida has to overcome beyond just scheme and beyond just even, coaching. Sometimes you just got to have the beef and the strength. And I think Georgia showed throughout this game that they had more of that. They were able to very easily push around Florida's defenders. The same thing was true on the other side of the ball as well. 2nd down and 8 for Georgia here. Georgia up 14-0. Florida going to play some man defense. Going to lock up a man. Here's my guy Perkins. I think he's one of Florida's best coverage guys. Yeah, I think he is definitely the best coverage guy in the nickel or in the slot as a defender. But I think in general, he's a ball hawk. He's a guy who makes plays man-to-man. He's a guy who's almost always close to the defender. In this case, unless Florida is choosing to play this inside out, which would be unusual. They could. Okay, it's unlikely, but they could. Regardless, Perkins is going to play this inside out. The more conventional way to play this is outside in. Use outside leverage. You're in man, cover one man, funnel this route to the safety. You do not want them to run a slot fade on you. A very popular route at all levels of football. It's an easy throw for the quarterback. It's a safe throw for the quarterback. And this guy's got to defend a whole lot of field if you choose to play that way. So typically you want leverage on the outside, not a million lines, but one line on the outside here and funnel him to your safety. That's not going to happen. We're going to see that Perkins immediately opens up to allow him to do this. So perhaps that's the case. Perhaps Perkins gets this wrong. What he does get right here, though, and this is actually a really good ball by Stetson. Again, Stetson tends not to have great ball placement. This could have been maybe a little bit further out here. As you can see, the receiver's having to open up and kind of turn himself a little bit this way, right? But that's a pretty good ball. It's a better play by Perkins, who, again, as always, is very close. He's always here. As this ball is caught, he's got his hand in it. Now he's got his other hand on it. We're going to go to the ground and wrestle for it, and he comes out on top with possession. That's a fantastic pick. Here's a bunch of looks at it in fast speed. Boom. Mine. Still mine. And Gene Steratore also thinks that's mine. That's a great pick. It's awesome stuff. Of course, I love it because I think Perkins, again, puts a lot of this stuff on film. To me, I'd give him more snaps. I think he struggles sometimes to know exactly where to line up, but he's a playmaker. He's a ball hawk. That's something Florida's defense could really afford to have, especially when it seems like a lot of the other personnel packages aren't necessarily working. But this is a great play by him. Good stuff on film, even if I think he probably should have been on this side of this route, funneling this to the safety. Georgia wouldn't be Georgia versus Florida if they didn't drop wide open passes. And that's going to happen in this game as well. Florida starts off in a 2-high look. Looks to be cover 2 man off the start. Looks to be cover 2 man. And then most likely is going to wind up being cover 1 man as they attempt to rob here with a rat, right? So Florida instead is going to just send 4. Right, here you go. Looks like cover 1 man with a robber. We're trying to rob all the way down here with a safety. To me, questionable scheme. I think Tony does things that are too creative. This is my opinion here. It's too creative. Bringing your safety come all the way down to potentially rob. A slant route here from Bowers might be nice, but also that's pretty complicated. That's a lot. Now you're leaving Shamar James, a freshman linebacker, man-to-man against this giant, their other glorious tight end, on a wheel route. So that seems to be bad. And that is bad because Shamar is looking into the backfield. And now he's going to look at his man. And again, he's in man. He's in man. Remind yourself, he's in man. And now he's going to look in the backfield again. This is what playmakers who come from high school tend to do. They underappreciate, or it just takes a while for them to recognize this is not high school. You cannot look into the backfield if you're playing man because every step you have counts. And if you look in the backfield and then relocate, you are not going to catch this guy. Again, you are not the most athletic guy in the field anymore. You have to recognize that. And now you're burned. And now you're about to get hit for a huge gain where you're not even going to catch him at all, except we alligator arm this. Whoop. A little alligator arm. Little T-Rex arms. I'm a huge guy with little T-Rex arms. I don't want this ball. Boop. And a drop. And again, if you're a Florida fan, you've seen Georgia receivers drop this for years. If you're a Georgia fan, you've seen this happen for years too. In this case, you're going to come out on top. So no big deal. But it happened right there. Should have been a big gain. Georgia had 500 plus yards of offense in this game. They should have had 600 plus yards of offense. But thanks to a couple of drops like this one, they don't get it. Another creative idea here from Tony, but doesn't work because it's not happening fast enough. And in theory, Florida actually gets everything they would want on this route. Again, they're going to show 2 high pre-snap. This could be cover 6 based upon the splits here. Could be cover 4, could be cover 2. Quarterback's unsure what's going to happen. And then post-snap, what's going to happen is Florida's going to wind up playing cover 2, but they're going to switch this. Perkins is going to drop back to safety, and Torrance is going to come down to rob this play. You're calling this play, if I'm calling this play, let me start by saying that. I'm calling this play because I want to get a home run interception on a slant route. That's why I'm calling it. I'm trying to think or confuse Stetson that he's going to pick this ball up, see him dropping back, feel like he's got a safety here as well, and he's going to have a walk-in slant route. That's where he comes in to rob this, right? But look how Florida plays this. We've seen this on film before. Stetson opens right up, puts his head right on it, sees lots of beautiful green grass, and Perkins is dropping back because he's supposed to, but Torrance is staying flat-footed. Again, if you're a robber, you have to rob. That's the point of this. You're supposed to take a chance. You need to be closer either with your split, right? The problem there is you're going to wind up giving up the deception, or the second this ball is snapped, you got to come downhill. You got to rob this play. That's your job. You're robbing this play for a reason. Now, I don't know if this is Torrance's fault. This is how it's being coached. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is playing it this way makes no sense. Why? Because there's an automatic 9-yard or first down gain that you're just giving them from the slot. You're showing them pre-snap grass, you're giving them pre-snap grass, then you're giving them post-snap grass. That's just not good football. So if you want to be creative like this, you want to take a guy who's already picked a guy off in the slot here. It's already happened. He's already got one. You want to take him out of the play to bring your safety in and make a play. He better come downhill and make a play. This does not make any sense. I almost hate to put this on film because Bernie does such an incredibly great job here and just gets such a cruel fate. Here he is against Bowers, what most people think is the best tight end in college football. Good initial hand contact, right? Slow the route up, route him around, does not fall at all. He's trying to kind of fake this little flare to then turn this up the field. Bernie's running with him stride for stride. And this is a linebacker, stride for stride. Stetson, good protection here. Easy ball. He opts not to take the absolutely wide open underneath route, by the way. There's no one here. Take a look. Watch the running back. Nobody's here. No one covers him. Right? We have the running back come out. We think maybe we should cover him here. Should I cover him? Nope. I'm going to come back here. Again, Stetson's not looking over there. Look at his eyes. He's just like, I'm good. Someone else is over there. But no one else is over there. And what we have here is Bernie in perfect position. It does not get any better than this. And Stetson throwing a really bad ball. Again, man coverage. Look at where this ball is. This ball's got to be up here. Ball's right to Bernie. Bernie's got his hand right on it. He could Odell this thing and pick it right off. Or if you saw Hopkins this past week, he just glove this thing. Bam. Instead, he gets the worst of the exchange. Then kind of batters his hand. Then hits him. Then caroms around. Then he's like, I got this. No problem. I'm still here. No, I'm not. Okay, no worries. Incomplete, right? I'll smack it again. Yeah, it's fine. It's incomplete. And then Bowers is like, I don't even know where the ball is. He can't even ever see it. It's so far behind him. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, it's right near me. I got it. And this guy all along has like Biff Sports Almanac and knows it's going to happen. Look at him. He's like, oh yeah, this is good. I see this. We're scoring. We're going in. We're golden. Touchdown. Look at this. Hands up. Hands up. We're out of here. This guy is a savant. And there we go. Down the field. Walk-in touchdown. And that's just so unfair to Bernie. I mean, that's fantastic stuff on film by him. So great stuff on film. Unlucky result. But that, again, is another reason why I think you want to play man against Stetson where you can. Florida wasn't in man on that particular play. At least not all of their team was. But Bernie was, and Bernie won that matchup, won that battle, and gets rewarded with a big play touchdown. That's brutal. Here's an example of a great play design and scheme by Tony. He basically calls Georgia's play on this play. Here's Cox. R.I.P. Cox, no longer a member of Florida's team, a guy on film all year long who's probably been Florida's best player on film. I've highlighted this each and every week. Of course, he does come with his share of demons. He had largely eliminated those, was a guy who was playing very hard on every snap, was making big plays for Florida. And of course, they dismissed him from the team for non-performance reasons. And here is a really nice play. We're going to blitz Dean, safety here, coming through the C gap. Then Cox is going to step through. And now we're going to exchange this with a linebacker. So Florida's all over this play, blitzing through the free gap. Cox in the window, coming downhill, beating the blocker to the spot. I mean, this is going nowhere. Even if Cox does not bat this ball down, which he does right there. There it goes, batted down. This play's dead on 3rd and 11. So chalk one up for Tony there. Good scheme, good execution. You want to see a lot more of that from Florida. Obviously, each game we do see some of it, and there's an example of one of them. Although Trey Dean had his best game, he certainly was not perfect. It's 1st down and 10. He's going to get matched up here against Ladd McConkey. And Marshall matched up here. Cover one safety here. Lock up there, lock up there, lock up there. Right, there you go. So Trey Dean's going to open this up. Again, with cover one man, if he gets outside the numbers, you want to keep him outside the numbers and use the sideline as your help. Trey's going to open up here, create the leverage like he wants to do that. However, he's running kind of in line with him rather than back here, which is what you'd like to see. And now he's actually ahead of him to the sideline, which is going to force Trey Dean to have to turn around, which he'll do right there. There he goes. He turns around. Now he has no idea where anything is happening. This is why you do not want to do this as a defender if you're watching, because right now he can run any route in the route tree that he wants in the comeback land, and you cannot stop it because you are looking at the scoreboard on the Jumbotron and you have no idea what's happening. So that's why you don't want to do that. As it stands, Georgia is running this go route to Ladd McConkey. They are targeting him here, and he is still open. Trey Dean's trying to catch back up to get there. Jason Marshall had such good coverage on his guy that he actually looks back, and you can't see this here. He looks back into the backfield right about here, And had he seen that the ball was already flying, he's going to walk into this pass and pick it off easily. He didn't see the ball. He had passed off his guy to the safety. He was trying to see if there was a play to be made, and he would have walked underneath this football. He just didn't locate it, which is really a shame because this ball, would have been a layup pick. Instead, it winds up being a drop as it's right in the hands of Ladd right there, and that's hurtful and frustrating. Again, not going to affect Georgia in this game. But Trey loses technique, loses leverage, leads to what should be a big completion. It's not. Jason Marshall had great technique on that play, could have made a big play by himself helping out. Unfortunately, didn't locate the ball early when it was thrown. This, in my opinion, is one of the best plays we've seen Florida put on film on defense all year long, and I'm going to show you why. 3rd down and 1, 21-3 in the second quarter. Florida getting beat like a drum. The offense unable to do almost anything. And here we have a 3rd and 1, which we've seen Georgia easily convert before. Here it comes. You've seen this formation. Now look at Florida countering this on the line of scrimmage, right? Just like we talked about, same triangle we saw before. This is Cox here on the inside, but same triangle we saw before, except now we're on the line of scrimmage rather than back here. So good work. Way to adjust that. Give you your points where points are due. I certainly prefer this much better for the reasons you are going to see. Now we're going to engage the lead blocker here. So is Cox. McClellan, who we're going to get a better angle from, is in here doing work. I'm going to show you that. And both Cox and McClellan are going to get free. And now we do not have the easy surge we saw before. We are contesting line of scrimmage. We can see there are white jerseys across the neutral zone here, and then a phenomenal tackle and turn away by McClellan, a guy who just gets better and better every week. Is going to be an absolute stud for Florida moving forward. Already looks the part, and that's right. Celebrate that one, big fella. Watch him do work right here. This is a technique video. If you are a defensive tackle, here is how you do it. First, engage and stay strong, right? Notice the base here, leverage leaning forward, stay strong, control the offensive lineman so that you can watch the play, and then bingo, throw him aside. Look at this. One more time, and flick him aside. Boom, get into the gap, make a tackle. All right, now let's watch Cox. Same thing here. You have to be active with your hands. Here's Cox. Let's clear out this little wedge of the block. Let's help this here. Clear him out. Help that there. And now let's get the second clear out here. Let's drive you out of the gap. There will be no gap here. I'm standing in your gap. And now because McClellan won and Cox won, we have the advantage. Bingo, squeeze. And then you've got, for good measure, right over the top, you've got Miller coming in and filling this gap. And that's going to be a stop. That is great team defense from Florida, something we have rarely seen this year on running plays like that. Welcome stuff there. Great stuff by Florida. Florida's going to simulate pressure here and then actually bring pressure. They're going to bring 5 on this particular play. Going to bring 5. You're going to watch Bernie drive through the running back here. That's going to be some sensational stuff. And we're going to watch Marshall's technique up at the top here with corner. First, let's watch Bernie. Let's watch how this happens right here. Bam, explode through. He's one-on-one versus the running back, right? It's like 2 Rams butting heads for supremacy. Boom. And he is just going to drive him like a sled all the way back into Bennett. I mean, a blur of red there. One more time. Appreciate that. That is excellent. Ball's up. Jason Marshall's all over this, right? He's all over this play. He's holding his hand down here, which is actually a super pro move that's rarely going to wind up getting called. Exactly what you want to do here at the point of contact. And then almost a sensational catch, but that goes as an incomplete pass. Florida playing man defense here, by the way, something, again, I was highly in favor of. And now let's watch Jason Marshall go to work. Marshall has struggled on these film reviews, especially playing zone. We haven't seen him play a whole lot of press man here, but this is good stuff. We've seen in the past Florida's man technique was lacking, but I want to show you, if you've watched previous videos from previous years, you know I used to spend a lot of time looking at the DBs and their technique. I love this stuff. DB play is one of my favorite things. Top of your screen here. First off, Marshall does not go backwards right away. We're going to see where he's going. He's going to make a few jukes, and then as soon as he declares, boom, I'm declaring outside, we're going to get a cross-body jam. Don't use your left arm, use your right arm. Cross-body jam, and there it is. Cross-body jam. You do this, so if he tries to take the route back in front of you, you are still on your feet. You can still use your hand to steer. Cross-body jam, slow the route down, and then turn with him. He's going to go off your screen turning with him. Stay in his hip pocket, and then turn your head around. Little late with the head around here. However, this ball's Quick to get on him. Incomplete pass. Really, really good stuff there from Jason Marshall. Nice stuff there from Bernie, just driving him back into Stetson Bennett. Nice play by Florida. Really nice play here from Trey Dean. He's working here in the flats. He's going to stay flat on the snap. He's not going to back up, and he's going to see if he has a quick breaking route into the flat right here, which he does. Now he's in zone defense, eyes on the quarterback, zone defense, right? Open up. Okay, we've got a shallow route, start to come downhill. Ball's being thrown. I see it. I'm going to come downhill hard on this now. Close, boom. Close right as the ball gets there. Perfect timing. Really, really nice play there by Trey Dean. Great timing, great technique. Way to come downhill. Way to make a stop. Crucial play here for Georgia. 3rd and 10. 3rd and 10 now. They got the matchup here with Ladd McConkey on Jason Marshall. Outside the numbers, so Marshall's going to want to force him to the sideline to make this throw harder for Stetson. Florida's going to play some man defense. Get a robber in here with Ventrell. We're going to want to seal this off, not to allow this route happen here. Everything looks good for Florida. Stetson's going to throw this ball early as we get pressure right here. We get free early on from Florida, so we have a win up front. Ball's got to come out right away. It's a win for Florida thus far. And then you can see, and you can't really see on this study, but Jason Marshall's holding down the left arm here just temporarily of Ladd. But then Ladd's going to work past him and kind of, throw him aside here for the first down. And the flag comes in. Now at the game, I thought for sure they're going to call offensive pass interference. It certainly looks like it. Now let's watch Marshall. Crossbody jam. Crossbody jam. Perfect technique. Run with him. Perfect. Hold the arm down a little bit, which again, this is a pro move here to hold the arm down a little bit. I mean, that's something you generally get away with. No problem there. They're just hand fighting. You got to have that. No issue. And then you get the back of the arm on the jersey here and then a shove. It's a 2-hand shove this way. How in the world the referees decide that's a penalty on Jason Marshall is beyond me. The officiating in this game obviously had issues. There were issues with the officiating for sure. That is absurd. That's great defense by Marshall. No chance he pass interferes there. If anything, that should have gone the other way. Missed call there by the refs. All right, 2nd and goal for Georgia. And once again, we saw this earlier, Florida is going to play off. Not as far off as they were before, but we talked about why if you want to do this, you need to bring him down here. You got to play this as a triangle. You want the low point of the triangle to be here. That's the best way to play it, in my opinion. There are other ways to do it, but I think that's the best way to do it, especially in college. Florida's going to elect not to do it, and Georgia is going to use the reverse of the concept they used before. The concept before was here, step back here to eventually get to this space. That's the goal. They're just going to run into the space. They think, hey, I think Florida's going to give us this. If they're giving the same defense they gave us before when we ran this formation, we know that we have man or zone, but either way, this will work against both. Again, this is a combo beater. Against the zone, you're going to flood it. So if you're zoning this off, right, like this, you're going to flood this zone 3-on-3, which is what you see happen here with all 3 guys going into one zone. That's a flood. If you're in man, you're going to force this defender to have to chase this guy, especially if he's off over here across the formation, as you just basically run these guys as kind of a wall in front of them. So it's a combo beater. Man or zone, doesn't matter. They're able to play this here. They're comfortable with this throw because of Florida's depth. The pre-snap look is very easy here. We're going to just run in this soft underbelly window here, face no opposition really, and walk into the end zone. Way, way too easy. Chalk another one up there for scheme on Florida's defense. Georgia had success against Florida running the football. That's an understatement, averaging more than 6 yards per carry. They had a lot of success running some of the old nemesises for Florida. Here's the guard tackle counter. Florida has been very susceptible to power runs, especially the old GT counter, and there it is. Running back's going to step this way, come this way, pull your guard and your tackle across the formation here. Florida does a fine job. If you're Burner, you want to hit this as hard as you can, right? Your goal here is to just mountain ram this thing, bam, like drive him into the gap they want to run through, which is right here, because you know his job is to kick you out. He's going to get low and drive into this, and he pretty much neutralizes this, which is fine. Then Miller comes in, same thing here. If you really want to just blast this, just hit this guy as hard as you can, muddle the picture here. So really, that's okay. This is not a great GT counter off the start, but they do get excellent blocking over here. And now this play is going to be just a small gain on first down, but it's going to be a good gain, except you're going to see a great play by Bernie coming in here from the backside, still pursuing, comes in and then strips this ball out. Bam. Recovery right here by Trey Dean, the old Bernie to Dean combo, something we don't see too often. That's fantastic stuff from Florida, and the magic of the third quarter begins. Florida scored a touchdown on offense. Now we get a turnover, and all of a sudden 28-10 feels a little bit nervy for Georgia. 1st and 10 now for Georgia. Here's Bernie again, this time not matched up on a tight end, matched up with a running back. Florida's playing cover 3 behind this, but they're going to have Bernie run with any go route or vertical route that occurs here to pattern match this, and he sees this here. He's going to take off running with it. Now, to be fair, Bernie is absolutely burnt on this play, right? Although he's going to get a pick, he is toasted. There's like nothing but green grass. Jaden Hill is 10 yards off your screen in front of this play, can't make a play. Stetson's got like a 9-yard window to put this ball in there, and he does not put it anywhere near where it needs to be, despite a beautiful pocket. I mean, he's just standing back here playing catch in the backyard. I mean, look at this, right? All the space here. He whiffs this throw bad. But you know what? Credit to Bernie for being there and for making the pick. That's one reason why I think, again, teams are going to want to try to play more man-to-man, even though Florida's not in man-to-man here against Georgia's. Make him make these throws. He's just not super accurate at this. And Florida comes up with a pick on a play when it probably should be a big play, right? It's not a big play. And now it's 28-13, and Florida's in the football game. Georgia not running the ball enough here, trying to kind of force the issue with Stetson. Bernie with a great pick, a little bit of redemption, and Florida's in the game. 2nd and 12 now for Georgia. The former Georgia player, Kimber, down here on the bottom, is going to make really a great play. I think this play, to me, I said on the podcast, was the turning point of the football game. It's 28-20. There's a lot of game pressure on Georgia. It's 2nd and 12. The offense is not clicking. They came out and ran the ball for a first down, then ran the ball again, and now it's going to be the only passing play of this entire drive. And to me, this is Stetson's best play, despite the fact that he is erratic and will make some poor decisions and oftentimes poor throws. He has been clutch when the chips are down. And look at this ball here. Roll to his left, not the primary read here. Throw over the middle a little bit late. This is a little dicey, a little dangerous. And look at the coverage. I mean, on the screen, it's a blur. It's a blur of bodies, right? Kimber is all over this pass. He's literally all over it. And that's just a fantastic play. And if you're a DB, that's just life being a DB. I mean, look at Kimber. You can't do much better than this. He's all over him on a dig route across the middle of the field. And this just happens sometimes. But if you're Kimber, you get up, you carry on. And again, if Florida was able to play that kind of defense on every play, this game would have been different. But either way, that's just a great play. Those are the kind of plays you want to see on film. If Florida gets better as a football team throughout these years, as we watch each game on film, you're going to see more and more of that, and that's going to lead to more incompletion. So that play, I think, really changed the game. An incompletion there, 3rd down and 12, 28-20. This might become something different than what it became. The very next play, we're going to see Georgia use a concept Florida used against Tennessee. And right here, they have good numbers for this, right? We're going to go here, 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 and a little toss play. Good numbers, 5 versus 4, could be 5 versus 3, depending on what the end does. And right away, you get that 5 versus 4 matchup. And now you are racing to seal off the edge here with Trevez. Get your big tight end out there, and there is the edge seal. So again, if you're Trevez, what you need to do is get out here. You need to race him to the edge. You do not want to go inside. That's a big no-no. That's where they want to go, is right down the sideline. Now that picks up an extra 10 or 12 yards. So Georgia's going to just keep running the ball on this drive. The one pass they completed was enough for them. 2 plays later, it's 2nd and 2. Georgia's going to keep the ball on the ground here. They're going to run a guard, H-back counter over here. And again, if you're Florida's defense or any defense, when you see this, you want to blow this up. Go be a battering ram and absolutely blow that up. That doesn't happen. Instead, we get blown out. That's what you want to do. It's a win for Georgia. Then you've got your lead blocker coming through next. Watch this. He gets all the way through the hole and engages at the first down already. Bingo, right here. So although this hole is small, right, you got Dexter forcing the issue here. You got a tiny little hole for the running back. It's going to disappear in here for a second. There is still the hole, and we're right here. We're going to try to grab. We got 2 arms on him. Can't get him. Shoots through. Finishes the play. Walks in for the touchdown. Georgia then goes up, never to look back. Florida will not score again. 35-20 in this one on a counter run play and a drive that featured Georgia running every time but once, the one passing play I showed you. All right, 3rd and 3 for Georgia. You can see a theme. Georgia obviously thought on film review that these bunch sets were going to be a good idea against Florida on 3rd and short, and boy, were they right. So now Florida's getting closer to the right idea. We saw them with the right idea earlier on 3rd and 3. Again, if it's me, I'm lining them up right here, right in the line of scrimmage, and then my triangle be right here and right here. That's how I'm going to set. Florida instead is here and here. That's their triangle against the bunch, right? You want to mirror the formation is generally a good idea. And because of these distances on 3rd down and 3, here is what you get. You're going to allow the screen. If he's here and here, like I had wanted, right? Let's say we're here. He's already coming downhill when the screen gets thrown, and now you're like this. That gives you a chance to make a stop before the first down. As it stands now, we're walking back 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage to set up our blocks here, right? One reason why you want this on the line of scrimmage and not where he is here is let's watch what happens. He's going to come up and try to engage him at the line of scrimmage, but he's not going to get it perfect. We're going to turn his hips and face him this way. If he's right at the line, the leverage starts off equal. It's harder for him to do that. So one, we're going to turn him out of the play because we want to go over here. And now we're going to bring Bowers out to go one-on-one versus the edge and leave this player as the chase defender and give him optionality here or here. And he's just going to do what he should do here. Slab McConkey, just follow your block, trust your block, and just get the first down. Again, this to me is scheme, not player here. Scheme, not player. You got to be here, you got to be here, and you got to be here. Florida's not. That's going to wind up being a first down. All right, 3rd and 7 for Georgia. Now we're talking here, a little cover 1 man from Florida. Notice the triangle here, right? Like that, much better. Before the first down marker. Good pre-snap alignment. Same thing from Trey Dean, just 3 yards off. Knows he's playing man here. Just 3 yards off. Knows he's playing man. Wait here. There we go. He's on it. Bingo. Now let's watch him again. Contact. You can see he's making contact off your screen right here. Stetson wants to go after Trey Dean. It's the matchup they like. Hands on him. Going to hold on to him a little bit, but you're getting away with it, so let's do it. Let's get the left hand out here. Stay close. Again, this ball is thrown behind him. The better ball is where he's not having to turn all the way around to face him. He's not running a curl route here. He's running a dig, and that is not a great ball, but that's what you're counting on from Stetson. That's why you're playing man, and then separate from the ball there. Great play by Trey Dean on 3rd down and 7. This is still a football game here at 35-20. This is the right time to celebrate here, Trey Dean. Like that right there. Let's celebrate that. You're still in the football game here. Now, of course, we got to flex and do all the other stuff you tend to do. But at least in this case, it is still a football game. This is still contested. Right time to show a lot of emotion here. Big play on 3rd down and 7. All right, 4th down and 7, and this play is going to be really unfortunate because Cox is going to jump off sides right here. This is a sin you do not want to commit. Jumps off sides, free play. Stetson knows he has a free play. He's going to go to the matchup he wants, which is a safety, Trey Dean, versus best receiver in Bowers. And then there we go. Just lob it up there, let him go to work. Trey Dean's all over this play. He turns his head around. He's all over this play. It's a really, really good ball from Stetson, one of his best of the day. And that leads to a huge pickup on 4th and 7. That ultimately is going to close the door on this game for Florida. And here is the actual door closing in this game. Little pre-snap motion. See if they can get the look they want, which they do. We're trying to run this way. Florida's overloaded this way. Pre-snap motion works. Going to hit the gap here in our inside zone run and then get turned away by Miller. But then Georgia here is going to drive him across into the end zone. Extracurriculars from Cox. Going to shove a guy here. So a few more guys there. It's my old team. I'm frustrated. And that's going to be that really for Florida. We'll take a look at a couple more plays here before this game ends. But that was really the nail in the coffin. 3rd down and 3 for Georgia. What do you see again? we see the same thing. This bunch set here, Florida has too many defenders on this side. We are not pre-snapped aligned correctly. You can't see that they motioned, unfortunately. The camera does not give it to us. They motioned into this, and because of this, we are down a defender. Now, Florida's going to play this much better. We're late to get here. Again, you'd rather see start here, triangle here, right? This is what you want to see. Aggressive posture at the start. Florida almost gets into that spot. You'd like to see Torrance down there. They're almost there. We do engage here, and because of that, we actually see that Florida is fine right here. Take a look. We're fine. If we have the extra defender where he should be right here, we might be able to stop this. Instead, we don't. We're on the other side due to the formation shift. Now we're out and running. Nobody's going to touch him all the way until we get 20 yards down the field. Again, the game's out of hand, but still 3rd down and 3. You want to see your defense execute to the best of their ability. And that bunch set really, really hurt. 42-20, Georgia now really just putting the icing on their cake here with their win over Florida. Trey Dean's going to perfectly time this safety blitz and make a nice play. Pops up. I think he thinks he's going to start strutting here. Gets pretty excited, his vibe, and his teammates are sort of like, hey, we're getting killed. Let's just line up, keep playing hard. And he thinks better of it, holds himself back, which I appreciate. I know he's hyped up here. He's excited. He made a good play. I respect that. Team first. Way to go. Nice job, Trey. No need to go out there strutting and flexing when you're getting smoked, even if you're having the best game you've had. Team game first. Appreciate that. Way to rein that in right there. That's being a good teammate. It feels fitting that we should end this film review with a Trey Dean play, given that he did play his best game. Give him all the shine that he needs to get after a lot of film studies of difficult stuff out there. This is one of his better plays as a Gator, in my opinion. It's going to be small, but this shows, I think, some of the growth that Florida has made, despite being one of the worst defenses of college football. There's not a lot to hide or apologize for. The film says what it says, but you'll see moments like these, and you think, hey, this is a good moment. We've got a motion here, which we're going to pass off in real time right there to Jaden Hill, and now he's got to pick up the tight end who's coming across the formation, which he is going to do very well. He's going to close this space down on 4th and 3. Stetson's going to try to go to him. He has the space. Again, probably a completion. That's a tough cover for Trey, but Trey is there. He's close enough. He's there. He's going to wind up getting his arm in here and do just enough to separate the ball. This guy says first down. You are wrong, sir. Put the arm down. This guy is right. This is not a first down. And Trey Dean is also correct here. That's incomplete and a low 5, little head nod. And again, much better muted celebration there. Again, you're getting smoked. It's the 4th quarter. The game is over. But a nice play from Trey Dean puts a cap on his best game as a Gator. Bernie's potentially best game as a Gator. The defense, again, got hammered in a lot of regards, had a lot of really big plays in some moments as well. Certainly did not do enough to win this game, but did do enough to allow Florida to get back into it. There's still a lot that we need to see from this defense as the season continues. There's a lot of improvement that I think needs to be made. And again, once again, story of this game was both player and scheme. Both are at fault here. Florida's scheme, I think, could use some improvement. So that's my opinion. As always in these film reviews, all of these ideas and thoughts are my opinions. So if you like them, great. If you don't, that's fair too. Right? The best thing about football is, in fact, discussion. But I will keep bringing you these film reviews so we can look visually, see what Florida is doing every single week. So hopefully we have a body of evidence to see improvements that are made by the staff and by the players. And then if Florida reaches the destination they want to get to, you'll have a nice kind of chronological set of improvements over time. I think they're coming slower, again, than most Florida fans would want them to come from, and they may not come at all, right? That's my job here, is to give you the film each week so we can look at it. All right, that's all for now. I'm James from the Gator Nation Football Podcast. I'll be with you next week where I'm going to break down Texas A&M.